LSU Clemson's going on head to head. We already know if you're listening to the first time, Collin's super high on Clemson. I'm not. I like this LSU defense much more than he does. And you want to talk about
you like Blake Baker.
Everyone says I like the transfers they brought in on defense. I'm curious to see how they use Blake Perkins. We're going to see, and we'll see how Clemson chooses to decide to attack him and how often he's on the field. But look, this is a Clemson team that everyone talks about. Look, the biggest worry for me is the offensive line. So there is a world where LSU can finally run the ball. They couldn't run the ball last year. They were down with Georgia and how bad their running offense was in terms of SEC. And by the way, Georgia, the only team they could run against all year was Clemson. Clemson couldn't stop anyone against the run. Anyone with a pulse ran all over them. So I get that they have one of the best defensive lines on paper. They have guys who are going to go in the first round of the NFL draft. But even with those guys last year, and look, they have everyone back, their number one returning production, yada, 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 they still were outside the top 75 in rush success rate. This is a team that would routinely give up 5.5, 6.5 yards per carry in a game against anyone with a pulse. Got just bullied by Louisville at home. Anyone with a pulse, they lost to last year. And they were extremely lucky to make the college football playoff. Shout to Mario Cristobal for losing to Syracuse, because I was all in on Clemson last year. I had them to win the ACC. I had them to go to the college football playoff. But that was at a different price point. And now everyone is – and that team last year was barely a playoff team. And yet, they look good against Texas in a loss, and what they barely covered or whatever. They were right on the number.
You know Tom Allen would upgrade, though.
Yes, but it doesn't mean day one that he's going to wait. Run D is his thing. I think he's eventually going to get it fixed. I agree. Look, I have Clemson power rated 7th. So a lot of people are like, that might be – I think it might be too high, to be honest. But so I have them dead even with LSU. And, well, actually I have LSU a half point ahead. Home field advantage for Clemson, it is above a field goal. So I don't think this line is egregious.
No.
By any stretch. It's not like I show a huge edge on it, but I have to stick to my guns. It's week 1. I've been saying all summer, Clemson is overrated. And I'm admitting that I might be too high on them. I think LSU is more upside. Like, we kind of know what Clemson is. I love their receivers. Their offensive line should be good. I love the hire of Matt Luke. He fixed their offensive line last year. But I'll take Nussmeier over Klubnik. They might have a run game if this offensive line hits. Now, look, the offensive line could collapse on the road, week 1, brand new offensive line. Like, you're going to have 5 new starters. It looks like DJ Chester, your one returning starter, might not even start. He lost 4 to the NFL. Now, there's some talented guys. You got a Vatek transfer at center, Northwestern transfer at guard, and you got some talented, 5 stars at tackle. Still a battle at one of the tackle spots, but it could just be disastrous. I'm willing to admit that. But I'll ask you a trivia question. Who is, out of all the current coaches, who is the most profitable since 2005 as an underdog?
I mean, it's got to be, you're probably coming up with a Brian Kelly thing because you went over in 2005.
And all I hear about is Brian Kelly can't win the first game of the year. I'll grant you that. We can lose by 3 here.
You didn't watch Netflix, did you?
But no, he's awful on Netflix. So who likes Brian Kelly? Why don't we talk? Why is anyone talking about Dabo in week 1? Last year, destroyed by Georgia. 3 years ago, destroyed by Georgia. Scored 3 points, 3 points. Oh, it's Georgia. They're so good. Georgia wasn't that good last year. How about 2 years ago? Was that at home against Duke? They were laying a big number. They just laid an egg. Got destroyed by Duke by 20. I think that game was at home. Why are we talking about Dabo? It's on 1 game since COVID in week 1. And don't give me it's just Georgia, because Duke blew them out in their home field in embarrassing fashion. Give me the points, baby. Go Tigers.
Oh, man. What time does this game kick? Oh, you and I are going to be primed by the time 6:30 comes around. Look, Jesus Christ has been a part of Dabo Swinney's life the entire time. But I don't think Dabo saw the light until this offseason. There's finally a transfer portal haul. And there's finally a defensive coordinator that he didn't just upgrade from assistant. All right? Dabo has seen the light. He understands how college football works. He's going to have to eat some words that he said in the past about how he's going to retire. Right? I love the moves that Clemson has made in the offseason. I don't have as many questions about them as you do. And by the way, for transparency, I make Clemson by 1 on a neutral. So I don't think the line is outrageous either. I mean, this is...
Yeah, so you'd make it like 4.8.
Well, I do like a Taylor series to get home field advantage. Like I could look up what Clemson's is, but every team is different for me. 2.4.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
My home field for Clemson is between, for a night game and big game, is between 3.5 and 4.
Yeah. So look, I said this in the ACC pod, so I'll repeat it quickly. Klubnik is getting better and better. 3.9 to 3.3 to 2.3% turnover-worthy play rate. It has gotten better year over year over year. 28 big-time throws to 13 turnover-worthy plays last year was his ratio. He is getting much better with pressure. Klubnik finished 9th in the almighty stat on-target rate last year. His accuracy is elite. He can hit anybody on the move. That is good news for Antonio Williams in the slot. That is good news for an aging Bryant Wesco, who should be the jump from freshman to sophomore, I can't wait to see this kid because he was mentioned with Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith in that recruiting class, and it took him a while to come on. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I will give you this. There's a hiccup at running back. I thought this true freshman Gideon Davidson was going to be the starter, but they took wide receiver converted running back Adam Randall on the depth chart. That doesn't mean that Gideon Davidson isn't going to get some runs here, but that's a true freshman. I know he looks like a man-child and he looks like a man possessed in these fall camps, but it's still, I don't even know if he's 18. It could be 17. But, that someone's got to join Klubnik in these zone reads. You just can't be all on Klubnik with his legs. So we'll see how that works out. But then again, I think Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator for LSU, has got so much to improve on. 80th in defensive quality drives. You're letting everybody march up and down the field. You were 124th in rush EPA allowed. That's just too many explosives on the ground. 113th in standard downs explosiveness. I know a lot of that is run, but on 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, you're getting wiped. The secondary is revamped with players that put up numbers. I'll give you credit to that from our preseason pod in the SEC. But are they going to be able to communicate with each other in game 1 in an environment like this? You can bring all these transfers together and they can have PBUs and all that. But you're sticking in this in a hostile environment and expect them to communicate with each other. Blake Baker has not been able to get a secondary to communicate with each other even when he was back at Missouri. So all of a sudden we're going to expect it now. What's Harold Perkins' form going to be? Is he a freshman or a sophomore season? Which one is he? And Whit Weeks? I said in the SEC pod, I'll say it again. Yeah, he had 82 tackles, and yeah, he looks like he's just running on adrenaline out there all the time, but he missed 16 tackles, and some of them are critical. He over-pursues. I need to see a little bit more maturity out of Whit Weeks and his pursuit angles because he misses tackles. God knows he can stick it to you, but he misses tackles.
I'm not saying it's a lock by any stretch. It's week 1, but I still need to see more from Klubnik. You're anointing him like all his numbers last year compared to who's Nussmeier is playing. App State, they're historically bad defense. NC State's worst defense in 20 years. Stanford's defense last year. Florida State last year. Wake Forest, UVA, Louisville. Wow, he threw it 56 times for 210 yards. Vatech, he threw it for 16 to 34 for 211. Citadel, oh yeah, great. Like he looked better at the end of the year. I'll give him that, but still, the body of work, need to see more. Give me the points.
Hold on. One last thing. Brian Kelly said that he's rotating 8 offensive linemen in this game.
No, he said you could see up to 7. And that's because they might rotate their tackles. You could see Chester in there. That's fine. I'm okay with if you see another guy or two.
Clemson 3.5. Let's go.
All right. I'm in. Go Tigers.